How many of you have taken your goals ever in your entire life and wrote them down on a sheet of paper? I've done it. I'm sure you have too. Now, the other day, I saw a speaker named Matt Booth. Now, Matt is a friend of mine, and he speaks on Mattitude. And if you ever have a chance to listen to Matt Booth from Dubuque, Iowa, or Cedar Rapids, Iowa, somewhere in Iowa, I'm not sure exactly where. So, Matt, you'll have to tell me where you're from. He speaks on Mattitude and goal setting. And the other day, he talked about goal setting. What he had us do, he had us close our eyes for a moment and think about the last time we set our goals. And you notice today that I'm filming on the beautiful shores of Lake Wingra. And behind me, where the car traffic is Vilas Park. There's a zoo back here, a beach, and along with the car traffic, I thought that would be a good way to help me pause so you could take in all I have to say. So each time a car comes by, hopefully I will pause and you'll be able to take in some of the information and write down some notes. Or even take the time to start writing down your goals every time I pause. Do it. Every time I pause, think about a goal and write it down. All right, so let's talk about goal setting. What Matt had us do is think of the times that we set goals. And then he had us all stand up if we had ever in our entire life written our goals down on a sheet of paper. And of course, the whole room stood up. He then had the people sit down who review their goals less than once a year. So everybody who was reviewing their goals once a year on New Year's Day with those New Year resolutions got to stay standing up. And then he said, well, if you review your goals once a month, remain standing. No, I didn't have to sit down. I remained standing. And you know, this was getting exciting. I loved this audience interaction by Matt because it kept me guessing what was coming next and when I was going to have to sit down. And it was competition because we were in a room full of achievers, people that are out there chasing goals and getting things done at the National Speakers Association Video Day. Well, then he had the ending one, and he said, if you review your goals and you can actually pull them out of your pocket or your bag right now, you can remain standing. And I caught my breath because I'm like, my goals, I believe I have them because I do carry them around with me. Often I'll keep them on my phone, which is a great way to carry your goals around these days with our technology that we have. And many times I'll write them down on a piece of paper because I just like being able to touch them and see them and cross them out. And that's a great way to keep on top of my goals. How about you? Carl. Another tip I'll give you that Matt Booth didn't have is I write them on my bathroom mirror, either on a Post-it note or I use an erasable marker. My children love that. My wife really loves that method. Well, there was me, Larry was standing up behind me, and I think one other person in the room. And Matt's point was, much as when you're driving around in a car with your GPS or your map, or even in your brain you know where you're going, you would never think about leaving home with no idea where you're going. And that was with his point with his goals, that you should carry around them on a sheet of paper. Somehow have them written down on something. These are just my business cards, but you can just carry a little card like this with your top goals. So you remember why you're doing what you're doing. Because let's face it, life is like a chicken on a trampoline with a 3-year-old. It is topsy-turvy, bounce around. Every time you think you're going to take off, gravity sucks you down, and then the little 3-year-old launches you in the air again. Another thing messy about life and having pet chickens like we do, there's chicken poop everywhere. No fooling. All right, how are you doing on your goal setting? Do you take the time once a year to write down your goals and never see them again? Or are you constantly evaluating and writing them down? I don't know what's going to work for you. Part of the Currency is More Than Cash unworkshop series method of training is what works for me may not work for you. And we're going to involve you in the process and get your ideas what works for you, which may not work for me. Yet, by talking about the goals and talking about writing them down, what we do know at lost1million.com is that what you focus on expands. And so if you're putting your goals on paper and you're looking at them, especially if you can pull them out of your pocket or look at them on your phone, they're going to expand. Can you imagine that? Imagine writing down your goals and then breaking them down into small next steps. Because when you do that, you wake up one day, poof, and your goals are accomplished. All right, let's review. Goals. Have some. Write them down. Carry them with you. We are on the shores of beautiful Lake Wingra. Remember, our currency is more than cash. Series of unworkshops. And why do we call them unworkshops? Because we're going to learn, we're going to be inspired, and we're going to have a good time. Our workshops take place, unworkshops, because workshops are boring. Unworkshops are fun. We have the Lake Monona Business Center where you can see a setting like this and think about how your mind will be freed up. Think about the goals and dreams you want to accomplish. Join us for the conversation each day here at lost1million.com, where every day we talk to small business owners, professionals who want to get out or grow something on the side, and people who need to think like a small business owner. And what do we talk about? We talk about having it all. Now, does that mean life is going to be perfect? No. We already covered life is like a chicken on a trampoline with a 3-year-old. Life is messy. Yet when you focus on growing your bank account and living your passion and maximizing your time, when you tie it into the concept of having it all in your faith, your family, your fitness, your friendships, your finances, falling forward, and I just did all those out of my normal order. I apologize for all the confusion. You can have it all. So no matter how you define having it all, one of the first steps is writing down, planned out, on a piece of paper, before the month, before the day, or before the week begins, what your goals are. Step 2 is carrying that around with you, reviewing it, revising it. You got to have planning with flexibility. And that's part of the GAP system of success. That's GAPPFFF. GAP spelled with 2 P's and 3 F's. We'll get to that another day. We're already on 8 minutes here. And if I still have you listening now, I hope you're enjoying the car traffic and this beautiful setting here at Lake Wingra.